Captain Elias Ward stood at the front window of the starship Aurora's Edge, staring at the glowing world below him. Lumaris was unlike any planet he had ever seen. It looked alive. Soft lights moved across its surface in waves, like the entire planet was breathing. Rivers of blue fire flowed between floating islands. Towering crystal trees sparkled under the light of two moons. After months of travel through deep space, humanity had finally reached the home of the ancient Lamari sovereignty. Elias tried to calm his nerves. This was humanity's first real meeting with the Lamari, one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. If anything went wrong today, Earth might never recover from the consequences. Captain Naomi Tran, his first officer, said quietly, "We're getting a message from the planet." Elias straightened his uniform. "Put it on." A tall alien appeared on screen. His skin was silver blue and looked like shining glass. Soft light pulsed through thin veins in his face. When he spoke, his voice sounded like a gentle echo. "Humans, welcome. I am Archon Sale, advisor to Queen Sarai. Her Majesty invites you to the royal spire. Follow the escort." The screen closed. Elias inhaled slowly. "All right, Naomi, you're with me. Let's try not to start a war today." Their shuttle descended into the glowing city. Towers curved like coral grown from living light. Every structure hummed with energy. When they landed, Lamari guards waited, tall, graceful beings with armor that shimmered like stars. "Captain Ward," one guard said, "follow us." Inside the palace, Elias felt like he had stepped inside a giant cathedral made of moving light. Crystal pillars rose so high he could not see the ceiling. Soft music seemed to float from the air itself. But the throne room stole his breath. A massive living throne of woven light vines stood at the center. Upon it sat Queen Sarai. She was taller than her people, with silver eyes that glowed like twin moons. Light moved through her hair like flowing water, and a crown of shifting colors circled her head. She watched Elias with calm interest, but something in her gaze felt deeper, almost searching. Elias stepped forward, ready to perform the standard diplomatic greeting. He had practiced 100 times. Bow, speak calmly, stay respectful. But as he lowered his head, his foot brushed against a faint strand of glowing light on the floor. The strand pulsed. A shock ran through him, warm, electric, overwhelming. And something inside his mind clicked. He felt a presence, a heartbeat that wasn't his. A flicker of emotion, surprise, curiosity, loneliness. It vanished in an instant, but it left him gasping. Every Lamari in the throne room froze. The glowing strand he touched was a bond thread, a sacred neural path used only between partners or successors. It was never meant to touch an outsider. Queen Sarai's eyes widened. The light around her shifted to a soft rose gold, a color none of her advisors had ever seen in their entire lives. Archon Sale whispered in shock. He activated a bond thread with the queen. Elias felt cold. "Your Majesty, I'm sorry. I didn't mean." But Sarai simply stared at him, her expression unreadable, her light growing warmer, brighter. In that silent moment, everyone in the room understood one thing. Something had just happened between the human captain and the Lamari queen. Something ancient, forbidden, and impossible to undo. For the rest of the day, Captain Elias Ward could feel the weight of every Lamari gaze on him. The throne room incident spread through the palace faster than light moving through crystal. Whispers followed him in every hallway. Guards stared too long. Servants bowed too quickly. Every Lamari he passed looked at him like he had become part myth, part mistake. Elias hated attention, especially the dangerous kind. Naomi walked beside him with a stiff posture. "Captain, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost." "I didn't see one," Elias muttered. "I stepped on one." Naomi sighed. "Elias, you triggered a bond thread. That's not a small accident. They say a bond thread links emotions. Some say it links souls." "Great," Elias whispered. "I barely survived normal paperwork. Now I'm accidentally soul bonded to a queen." Before she could respond, a soft glow lit the hall. A group of advisors approached, led by Archon Sale. His light veins pulsed with stressed colors. "Captain Ward," Sale said politely, though his tone was tight. "Her Majesty requests your presence in the upper gardens." "Alone?" Naomi stepped forward. "With respect, he doesn't go anywhere alone." Sale shook his head. "This is not negotiable. The queen insists." Elias nodded. It's all right, Naomi. I'll go. Naomi looked like she wanted to throw him over her shoulder and carry him back to Earth, but she stepped aside. Sail led Elias through tall crystal passageways until they reached a floating bridge of glowing stone. It connected to a garden suspended in the sky, trees made of light, flowers shaped like spirals, fountains that glimmered like liquid stars. Queen Sarai stood by a shimmering pool, her reflection rippling with shifting colors. She turned as Elias approached, her eyes glowing softly. "Captain Ward," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "Thank you for coming." Elias bowed awkwardly. "Your Majesty, about earlier. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to activate anything. I stepped on it by mistake." "I know," Sarai said with a small smile. "Bond threads cannot be forced. They respond only to emotion. Even accidental emotion." Elias blinked. "Emotion? I didn't feel anything except panic." "Not yours," she said quietly. "Mine." Elias froze. Sarai stepped closer. The rose-gold light around her brightened. "Your arrival surprised me. Your presence unsettled my mind. The thread reacted to a moment of openness in my thoughts. It touched you because I was thinking of you." Why?" Elias stammered. She looked away toward the glowing trees. "I have ruled for many years, surrounded by people who fear me, people who watch every word I say. Every emotion I show is judged." Her voice softened. "When you entered the throne room, you were the first person who did not look at me with fear or calculation. You looked at me like I was a person." Elias swallowed. "But the bond, what does it do?" Sarai hesitated. "It creates a link. Not full thoughts, only shadows of feelings. Small echoes." She touched her chest lightly. "I felt your shock, your confusion, and your kindness." Elias didn't know what to say. "Does this hurt your position?" Her glow dimmed. "It will cause chaos. Many will demand I cut the thread. Others will say you manipulated me. And some will fear what this connection means for the future." She stepped closer, her voice soft. "Do not fear, Elias Ward. I do not blame you. The thread reacted to me, not to you." Silence settled between them. The floating crystals around the garden hummed softly, responding to the queen's shifting emotions. Then Sarai lowered herself onto a glowing bench and motioned for him to sit. "I wish to understand humans better," she said gently. "Tell me how your people choose partners. Tell me why humans hold hands. Why they smile at strangers. Why they fight for each other even when they are afraid." Elias hesitated, then sat down beside her. And as he began speaking about Earth, about hope, about families, about mistakes and forgiveness, he felt faint waves of warmth through the bond thread. Queen Sarai listened closely, her eyes glowing brighter with every word. High above them, unseen, Lamari observers watched. Some with fear, some with curiosity, some with jealousy. And far beyond the city, an incoming ship, massive, armored, and hostile, cut through space toward Lumerus. Someone else had learned about the bond thread. Someone who did not intend to let it live. The next morning, the palace halls sounded different. Not peaceful, not calm. They buzzed with tension. As Captain Elias Ward walked with Naomi toward the council chamber, Lamari's servants silently avoided his path. Guards stared at him with unreadable expressions. Even the glowing walls seemed dimmer than before. "Something's wrong," Naomi murmured. "Something's very wrong," Elias replied. When they stepped into the chamber, Archon Sale was already there with half a dozen advisors. Their skin glow flickered in sharp, jagged colors. Fear, stress, uncertainty. The air hummed with anxious energy. Sale rushed toward Elias. "Captain, we have a situation." "When do we not?" Elias muttered. Naomi elbowed him. Sale brought up a hologram. A gigantic warship filled the screen, black metal, spiked armor, a symbol shaped like a burning claw etched across its hull. Elias felt his stomach drop. "That's Dravkari design." "Yes," Sale said grimly. "Warlord Kaver Dran is on approach. He is demanding immediate access to the queen." Naomi swore under her breath. "Dravkari warlords don't make visits. They make threats." Sale lowered his voice. "They believe the bond thread between you and our queen is a strategic danger." Elias blinked. "How did they even find out?" "It's been one day." "The galaxy watches us closely," Sale said. "Especially our enemies." Before Elias could reply, heavy footsteps echoed outside. The chamber doors glowed, then slid open. The Dravkari warlord entered. He was enormous, 8 feet tall, armored in dark plates that looked like they were carved from volcanic stone. His reptilian eyes glowed with yellow fire. 2 massive guards walked behind him, their claws clicking on the crystal floor. The Lamari advisors bowed stiffly. Kaver Dran did not bow at all. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Where is your queen? And where is the human who touched her mind?" Elias stepped forward. "Right here," Naomi hissed. "Elias." But the warlord's gaze snapped toward the human captain. He studied Elias from head to toe, slow and silent, like a predator evaluating prey. "So small," Kaver said coldly. "So fragile. And yet the entire sovereignty trembles because you stepped on a thread of light." "I didn't step on it on purpose," Elias said. "It was an accident." The warlord's eyes narrowed. "The galaxy does not believe in accidents. It believes in power." Sale stepped between them. "Warlord Kaver, Queen Sarai is occupied with state matters. You have no right to." Kaver raised one hand. The air itself vibrated. Every Lamari in the room fell silent. He stepped closer to Elias, towering over him like a mountain. "Human," he growled. "You carry a bond thread to a queen. A sacred link. A link that should never belong to your kind." Elias swallowed. "I didn't do anything to force it." "That is what makes you dangerous," Kaver said. "Your species does the impossible by accident." Before Elias could reply, the chamber lights flared bright gold. Queen Sarai entered. Her presence changed the entire room. The light following her shimmered like living silk. Every advisor straightened. Even Kaver lowered his head a fraction, more respect than he gave anyone else. Sarai walked past him without fear. "Kaver Dran," she said calmly. "You were not invited." "I come by right of the Concord," he said. "I come because your emotions were visible across 3 systems." The bond thread is glowing like a beacon. Her glow dimmed in embarrassment, but she faced him steadily. "My emotions are my own." "They are not," Kaver growled. "Not when they shake alliances. Not when they give hope to our enemies. And not when they involve a human." He pointed a sharp claw at Elias. "This creature should be removed." Naomi reached for her weapon. Lamari guards tensed. The air vibrated with potential violence. But Sarai lifted her hand. "No," she said firmly. "He stays." Kaver's eyes glowed brighter. "Then answer this, Queen of Light. Does the human hold your favor?" The room froze. Sarai didn't look away. "He holds my curiosity. He holds my trust. And he holds something else none of you understand. He does not fear me." Her glow shifted to soft gold, a sign of sincerity. Kaver hissed. "This connection threatens the balance of the galaxy. The Dravkari Dominion will not tolerate." He stopped suddenly. A new alarm began echoing through the palace. A Lamari guard ran in, breathing fast. "Your Majesty," a distress beacon from the Valent system. "Their star is becoming unstable. 3 inhabited worlds are at risk." Sale's glow flared with fear. "That star is collapsing," the guard continued. "Evacuation is impossible in time." Kaver snarled. "This is no ordinary collapse. This is a chain reaction, a weapon, or a mistake. Either way, no one has the power to stop it." The room filled with panic. Sarai looked to Elias, and he understood instantly. "Captain," Sarai said quietly, "what do humans do when something cannot be stopped?" Elias' eyes narrowed. He stared at the hologram of the dying star. He took a slow, steady breath. "We don't stop it," he said. "We figure out how to change the rules." Kaver froze. Sarai's eyes widened. Naomi whispered, "Elias, what are you planning?" And the human captain stepped forward, toward a star that should not be saved, toward an alliance that shouldn't exist, toward a queen whose heartbeat he could almost feel through the bond thread. "Let's go save 3 worlds," he said. And the galaxy shifted. The command hall of the Lamari sovereignty was usually calm, a place of harmony, glowing maps, and gentle crystal music. Today, it felt like a war bunker. Dozens of holograms flickered above the circular table. Each showed the same terrifying scene. The star of the Valen system twisting, bending, and collapsing in a violent dance of unstable light. Queen Sarai stood at the center, her glow dimmer than ever. Warlord Kaver Dran loomed beside her, his armor buzzing with suppressed rage. Elias Ward stepped forward, eyes fixed on the dying star. A Lamari scientist pointed at the hologram. His voice shook. "The star's magnetic field is broken. Centuries of energy mining caused internal fractures. The collapse will complete in 40 hours." Naomi muttered, 3 inhabited worlds, billions of families, children, all gone. Kaver growled. The only realistic plan is evacuation. Save the strongest worlds. Abandon the weakest. It is cruel, but it is logical. Sarai's glow flared with anger. We do not choose who lives and who dies. Not while there is even a chance to save everyone. Chance. Kaver scoffed. There is none. Even our fleets cannot outrun a stellar explosion. Elias stepped closer. Show me the collapse pattern. Sail enlarged the star simulation. Magnetic arcs twisted around it like broken wings. Chaos. Total destruction. Most beings saw doom. Elias saw a puzzle. Why is the collapse uneven? He asked. The scientist explained. The mining platforms dug too deep. They damaged the star's natural rhythm. It's collapsing into itself faster on one side. Elias nodded slowly. So the explosion will be directional, not spherical. Everyone stared at him. Kaver narrowed his yellow eyes. What are you implying, human? Elias walked around the table, tapping different parts of the hologram. If we can guide the collapse, shape the direction, we might be able to control where the energy shoots out. Sail frowned. Control a star? That is impossible. Not impossible, Elias said quietly. Just stupidly dangerous. Naomi stepped beside him. Which means it's exactly your style of plan. Elias pointed to the holograms of Lumari crystal ships. Your resonance cores can sing to magnetic fields, right? Influence them. Sarai nodded. In small amounts. They are meant for healing storms, not taming stars. Good, Elias said. We don't need to tame it. We guide it. He turned to Kaver. Your ships have the strongest gravitic anchors in known space. They can hold a collapsing moon in place. Kaver tilted his head. Yes. And we combine them, Elias said. Lumari crystals shape the magnetic pattern. Dravkari anchors hold formation. Human ships coordinate timing. Silence spread across the hall. Everyone stared at him as if he were insane. And maybe he was. Sail whispered. You propose a guided stellar implosion. Exactly, Elias said. Force the star to collapse inward in a stable pattern. If we angle the collapse correctly, the deadly flare will shoot into empty space, not at the planets. Kaver slammed his fist into the table, cracking the crystal. This is madness. A stellar collapse cannot be controlled. Neither can human stubbornness, Naomi said flatly. Sarai studied Elias with a strange expression, soft, warm, almost glowing. Through the bond thread, Elias felt a faint pulse of emotions. Hope, fear, admiration. Sail shook his head. Even if this plan could work, placing our ships around the star would destroy them. Kaver snarled. Dravkari ships can take the heat, but not for long. Elias leaned closer. We don't need long. We just need precision. Sarai asked quietly. How long would the fleet have to hold position? 7 minutes, Elias said. 7 minutes? Kaver barked. That is suicide. But it's possible, Elias said simply. The room fell silent again. Everyone looked to Queen Sarai. Her glow brightened into soft gold, the color of decisive courage. This plan is dangerous beyond measure. But it is the only one that does not accept death as the outcome. Kaver exhaled slowly. For the first time, there was no mockery in his eyes. You risk everything for strangers, he said to Elias. No, Elias answered. I risk everything because someone has to. Kaver stared at him. Then, slowly, he nodded. A human fighting a star. He thumped his chest. I will stand with this madness. Sarai stepped forward, light shimmering around her. Then it is decided. We will attempt the human's plan. Elias felt her emotions through the bond thread again. Warm, brave, trusting. But then, a new alarm rang out. A fresh hologram appeared. A second disturbance in the outer ring of the system. Something was moving near the star. Something huge. Kaver's eyes widened. That is no natural formation. Sarai's glow dimmed. Is it a weapon? Elias stared at the strange object. No, he whispered. It's something worse. And outside the palace, thunder shook the sky as the joint fleets prepared for a mission no species had ever attempted. A mission that would test trust, courage, and the impossible bond between a human and a queen. The joint fleet gathered around the dying star like moths circling a bonfire. Dozens of vessels from 3 different species drifted into position. Lumari resonance ships glowing like floating lanterns, Dravkari war cruisers dark and armored like predators, and a handful of human vessels acting as the brain of the mission. From the bridge of Aurora's Edge, Captain Elias Ward watched the unstable star twist and pulse like a wounded beast. It groaned with magnetic storms. Violent arcs of plasma tore across its surface. Every second brought it closer to catastrophic collapse. Naomi's voice trembled slightly. "I can't believe we're actually doing this." "Me neither," Elias replied. "But someone has to." His console lit up with 3 channels: Queen Sarai, Warlord Kaver, and Archon Sail. Sarai's voice was gentle but steady. "All vessels are in position. The resonance crystals are charged." Kaver's tone was gruff, annoyed, and a little impressed. "My ships have locked their gravitic anchors. If the star tries to tear us apart, we will hold the line." Sail added nervously. "Captain Ward, once the resonance begins, we cannot stop it. If the calculations are wrong, then all of us become space dust," Naomi finished. Elias exhaled. "Let's try not to let that happen." He stared at the star, at the swirling mass of chaos and fury. This wasn't just a sun. It felt alive, thrashing like it knew they were trying to change its fate. Through the bond thread, he felt Sarai's worry and her trust. Her emotions glowed softly in the back of his mind. "Begin the crystal song," Elias said. A soft hum rose from the Lumari ships. Then it grew and grew. Soon the entire vacuum of space seemed to vibrate with a haunting melody. The crystals sang in perfect harmony, bright, beautiful, and terrifying. Waves of controlled energy stretched from ship to ship, weaving a net around the star's chaotic magnetic field. Sarai's voice was steady. Resonance Layer 1 activated. The star responded at once. Its surface rippled. The magnetic storms bent toward the pattern the crystals created. Naomi watched the data. "It's working. We're shaping the field." "Hold formation," Elias ordered. "Don't let the pattern break." Then the star resisted. A violent burst of plasma slammed into 2 Lumari ships. Their shields flickered. One ship spun nearly out of position. "Recenter," Elias shouted. "Compensate with Sector 5 anchors." Kaver roared into the channel. "Dravkari vessels, hold them steady." His warships moved like giants, gripping the drifting ships with gravitic beams and pulling them back into alignment. But the star fought harder. Its rotation accelerated. The surface split open, revealing a core of violent white fire. Naomi paled. "Elias, the collapse speed just doubled." "We adapt," he said calmly. "Increase resonance frequency by 0.3. Sarai didn't hesitate, adjusting the song. The crystal melody changed, higher, sharper, slicing through the chaos. The magnetic field bent again, forming the spiral pattern Elias needed. But Kaver shouted, "Anchors are straining. The gravity shear is too strong." "Hold for 60 more seconds," Elias said. "60 seconds will kill us," Kaver snarled. 50 then," Elias barked. "Trust me." Through the bond thread, Elias felt Sarai's sudden burst of courage. She pushed more energy into the crystals than they were designed to handle. Her voice shook. "Elias, the crystals, they're overheating." "Stay with me," he whispered. "Just a little longer." The star screamed. A shock wave tore across space, slamming against every ship in the fleet. Consoles sparked. Shields flickered. Elias was thrown forward, hitting his station. Naomi grabbed him. "Captain, I'm fine," he said, though his vision wavered. Then, the star's surface folded inward. The magnetic field twisted into the exact shape Elias needed. "Now," Elias shouted, "execute the collapse guide." The Lumari ships unleashed their strongest resonance. The Dravkari anchors gripped the star's twisted gravity. Human ships deployed their synchronized stabilization pulses. Everything shook. Everything cracked. Everything screamed. And then, silence. The star shrank in on itself, compressing into a small, brilliant sphere, a stable white dwarf. The deadly explosion never came. The energy vents shot into uninhabited space, missing all the planets. Valen's reach survived. Queen Sarai gasped. "We did it. Elias, we actually did it." Kaver's harsh voice came through the calm, softer than before. "Human, your madness has saved billions." Naomi collapsed into her chair with relief. "I can't believe it. We saved 3 worlds." Elias closed his eyes, exhausted but victorious. Through the bond thread, Sarai's emotions surged. Joy, pride, wonder, and something deeper that she tried hard to hide. Caver, Elias said quietly. Tell your warriors, today we all fought the impossible. Caver grunted, and the impossible lost. The star burned peacefully now, small and harmless. But this success, this unity, this bond, would ignite problems far larger than a collapsing sun. Because the galaxy didn't fear humans for their strength. It feared them for moments like this. When impossibility bowed to them, the celebration did not last long. By the next morning, every major news network in the galaxy was broadcasting the same headline. A human, a queen, and a warlord save 3 worlds. New power balance emerging? Elias Ward woke up to the sound of Naomi pacing near his bunk. Captain, we have a situation. Again. Elias rubbed his eyes. I haven't even had coffee. Naomi shoved a tablet in his hands. Messages flooded the screen, warnings, diplomatic requests, demands, threats, curious invitations. Every species with political ambitions suddenly wanted to know why a human was emotionally tethered to a queen capable of shaping stars. Elias groaned. How bad is it? Bad, Naomi said. There's a rumor the bond thread means you two are destined to well mate. Elias choked. What? Naomi blinked innocently. Just reporting the news. Before Elias could respond, the comm system chimed. Queen Sarai requested his presence at the Lumari Palace. Immediately, Naomi raised an eyebrow. Don't get yourself married by accident. Naomi, I'm serious. Don't. The Queen's confession. The royal chamber felt different today. Not tense, quiet, heavy. The Lumari advisors were gone. The guards stood far back, silent. Queen Sarai stood near a massive window of living crystal. Her light shifted slowly, like sunrise through stained glass. When Elias approached, the bond thread hummed faintly, warm, nervous. Sarai didn't look at him at first. I felt your fear, she said softly. Just now, when you read the reports. Elias froze. Sorry, I didn't mean. You cannot hide emotions from a bond thread, she said gently. I feel your honesty, your kindness. Your confusion. It reaches me even when I do not ask for it. She finally turned to him. I have been queen for many cycles, Captain Ward. Leaders line up to flatter me, to use me, to control me. But you. Her glow brightened softly. You speak to me like a person, not a throne. Elias didn't know what to say. Sarai stepped closer. When the star collapsed, I felt your mind through the bond. I felt your determination, your refusal to give up. It lit something inside me I have not felt in decades. Her pulse of golden light grew stronger. Elias, do you understand what that means for someone like me? I don't, he admitted. But I want to. She smiled, small and sad. It means danger. For both of us. The galactic condemning. The chamber doors burst open. Archon Sail rushed in, glow flickering with fear. Your Majesty, emergency message from the Galactic Concord. A hologram flickered to life. Dozens of alien officials appeared, arguing over each other. One shouted, the human must leave Lumerus. Another, the bond thread is a violation of political neutrality. Another, human emotional manipulation cannot be tolerated. Sarai's glow dimmed. Enough. The holograms fell silent. Sarai spoke calmly. Captain Ward saved 3 worlds. He united our fleets. His species did what no other civilization dared to attempt. And you reward that with suspicion. A delegate snarled. Queen Sarai, humans are unpredictable, dangerous. They turn catastrophe into victory. They make the impossible look easy. Elias stepped forward. Is that a crime? The delegate hissed. Yes, when it changes the galaxy's balance. Elias swallowed. So this is because of the bond thread? All delegates fell silent. Finally, one said, if the bond continues, you and the Queen become the most dangerous diplomatic pair in the galaxy. 2 minds. 1 thread. 1 unpredictable human. It cannot be allowed. Sarai's glow flared in anger. We will decide what is allowed. Not you. The hologram vanished. The moment of truth. Sail looked terrified. Your Majesty, you must sever the bond thread. Immediately. For your safety. For the sovereignty. For galactic stability. Elias felt a cold tightness in his chest. Sarai turned to him slowly. Through the bond thread, he felt a storm of emotions swirling inside her. Fear, longing, strength, doubt, hope. Elias Ward, she said softly. Do you want the bond severed? He looked into her glowing silver eyes. He felt the warmth of her mind. He felt the connection they had forged in impossible moments. He felt the trust they built facing a dying star. He also felt the weight of a galaxy watching them, afraid. "I don't want to lose what we have," Elias said quietly. "But I won't trap you in something that hurts your people." Her glow trembled. "What do you want, Sarai?" Elias whispered. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, very slowly, she stepped closer until the bond thread glowed brighter than ever. "I do not want to sever it," she whispered. "I want to understand it. I want to understand you." Elias felt the warmth pulse through him. Naomi's voice came over calm suddenly, panicked. "Captain, you both need to see this. The galaxy just moved fleets toward Lamari borders. They think the bond thread is a threat." Sarai's light surged with fear and determination. Kaver Dran's voice thundered through the channel next. "Human, Queen, prepare yourselves. War may arrive today." Elias and Sarai stared at each other, bond thread glowing between them like a bridge of living light. The galaxy feared them. The bond had become a spark in dry kindling. Any wrong step could start a war. "Sarai," Elias whispered, "whatever happens next, we face it together." Her glow warmed. "Yes," Elias warred, "together." And outside the palace, fleets from 5 civilizations moved like storm clouds gathering around a single point of light. The human and the queen, who dared to change the fate of a star. Tension spread across the galaxy like a fast-moving storm. Dozens of fleets hovered at the edge of Lamari's space, silent, waiting, watching. Each commander feared the same thing. A queen linked to a human who could solve impossible problems. A bond thread between 2 minds. A connection no one else understood. Inside the Lamari palace, alarms echoed like distant thunder. Elias Ward and Queen Sarai stood together at the center of the war room. The bond thread pulsed softly, warm and steady, connecting their thoughts with faint emotional echoes. Naomi appeared on a hologram beside them. "Captain, every major civilization is demanding an answer. They want to know what the bond thread means. They want to know if you two are allies, partners, or something more." Archon Sale spoke quickly, panic in his voice. "Your Majesty, the galaxy is scared. If you do not speak soon, the fleets may attack first. We must break the bond thread to prove neutrality." Sarai's glow dimmed. "Neutrality," she whispered. She looked out the crystal window at the glowing horizon of Lumerus. "My entire life has been neutral, safe, controlled, and empty." Elias felt her emotions ripple through the bond thread. Loneliness, exhaustion, longing. He stepped a little closer. "Sarai, you don't know the galaxy a life without feelings." She turned toward him, her silver eyes glowing softly. "Elias, if we keep this bond, if we stand together, we could start a war none of us can control. Or," Elias said calmly, "we could show the galaxy something it has never seen." Her glow brightened with hope. "What is that?" "A partnership built on choice, not fear. A queen and a human who refuse to be enemies. A bridge between species who don't trust each other." Naomi whispered, "Captain, if you say the wrong thing here, you'll be the most wanted man in the galaxy." Elias smiled slightly. "Not the first time someone has been mad at me." The queen speaks. The palace lights flared as the galaxy-wide broadcast started. Leaders from dozens of species watched from their ships. Millions of civilians tuned in. Every communication channel went silent. Sarai stepped forward. Her light blossomed into calm, brilliant gold. "I am Queen Sarai of Lumerus. And today, I speak not as a ruler, but as a person." Whispers erupted across the galaxy. She continued, "A bond thread formed between myself and Captain Elias Ward. Not because of power, not because of politics, but because I felt something I have not felt in centuries, true connection." The room went silent. Sarai lifted her chin. "I will not sever the bond. I will not punish emotions. I will not pretend to be an emotionless machine." A murmur of shock spread across distant fleets. And if the galaxy fears a human who has saved billions, then perhaps the galaxy fears the wrong things. She stepped aside. "Captain Ward." Elias' heart pounded. He walked forward, facing the galaxy. He took a slow breath. "I'm not a threat," he said softly. "I'm just human. I make mistakes. I try again. I survive. I help when I can." He paused. "And if the galaxy is afraid that I might care about someone, Then maybe that says more about the galaxy than about humans. Gasps echoed through the communication lines. Elias continued, fear builds walls. But we just proved something stronger. 3 species saved 3 worlds together. Because we trusted each other. He looked toward Sarai. And I trust the queen. Sarai's glow brightened into warm rose gold, the color of deep honesty. The galaxy watched, breath held. The unexpected answer. Suddenly, the hologram flickered. Warlord Kaver Dran appeared on every screen, standing tall in full armor. His voice rumbled through the broadcast. Enough. Everyone froze. The galaxy fears humans because they survive everything. They fear the queen because she feels everything. But today I saw something stronger than fear. He stepped aside, revealing his warriors. The Dravkari Dominion recognizes the bond thread as legitimate. Shock rippled through the galaxy. Kaver continued, we fought beside this human. We watched him stare into a dying star and demand it behave. We watched him guide our fleets. We watched him trust a queen others feared. He pointed at Elias. If this human and this queen choose to stand together, then the Dravkari stand with them. The galaxy exploded in noise. Sarai's glow filled the entire hall. Elias felt her emotions through the bond thread. Relief, joy, warmth, something deeper, a new beginning. Hours later, after the galaxy calmed, Sarai asked Elias to meet her in the silent upper gardens. The night sky above Lumeris rippled with silver clouds and floating blossoms of light. Sarai stood under a glowing tree. When she saw him, her crystals sparkled with gentle violet, a color Elias had never seen from her before. Elias, she said, voice soft. The galaxy accepted our bond. Kaver defended us. Naomi believes this may become a new alliance between our species. Elias nodded. It's a good start. She stepped closer, closer than ever before. But I want to know something, she whispered. Elias swallowed. What is it? Sarai looked into his eyes, her glow warming the air around them. Now that the galaxy is no longer forcing us apart, what do you want our bond to be? The bond thread pulsed gently between them, warm and alive. Elias reached out, taking her luminous hand. I want to see where this goes, he said quietly. Not because the galaxy needs it, but because I choose it. Her light burst into brilliant gold and rose, so bright it illuminated the entire garden. I choose it too, she whispered. High above them, the galaxy shifted into a new era, one shaped not by fear, but by a human and a queen who dared to stand together against the impossible. And somewhere beyond the stars, a new signal pulsed in the dark, a strange rhythm, a new mystery, a new story waiting. The next HFY chapter was about to begin.